Disappointed that I didn't get the Anka. Beautiful. I'll get the next version. How's that? That's what's so rough about those guys. Yeah, but are we right now? They just keep putting out. Did you say it while I was going to the restroom? Is that what's going on? Great. That's a great news. Nothing like a podcast where the main guy can't be heard. That's how you make.
It's our time to shine, Lewis.
Dang, I should have gotten some knock jokes ready. I don't know how to troubleshoot this because I can hear you fine. I guess I can look at the YouTube channel. It's true. I don't hear you on the YouTube channel.
Oh. Could this be why? How about now?
Push all the buttons at once. Push them all.
Check.
Now I hear you.
I think that fixed it. Yep. Okay. You guys missed some really great jokes. We can hear. That's what I like to hear as well. I don't know why that happened. That's so strange. So OBS changed my microphone input.
Not great.
May the 4th. Oh, it is May the 4th. May the 4th be with all of you as well. I'm actually going to... Oh, man, I've got so many stories. I'm actually going to Disneyland in 2 weeks. So we're going to have to figure out that show because I'm going to be at Disneyland for May before they close down Splash Mountain. And the other thing I was going to tell you guys a story. I don't know if we have time for this. We clearly don't because Lewis has to be gone in 55 minutes. But a while ago, I'm going to just tease you with this story. And then at some point in the future, like the HomePod update, I'm going to do the full story. But you guys will like this teaser. So a while ago, I took my wife on a mini shopping trip just to get some like clothes and shoes because it was her birthday, right? We have all of our kids with us because we got a lot of kids. No one's trying to watch 4 kids. And while we're at a Nordstrom rack, Lewis, I think I told you this story, didn't I? I think someone was casing the joint. My wife comes up to me and she's like, my purse is gone. And I'm like, what? Like, where did you put it? So we're looking around the whole store. And sure enough, it's gone. We looked everywhere, couldn't find it. And then we realized someone must have stolen your purse. Like, this is unbelievable. Like, she only set it down for a split second. And these kinds of things don't normally happen inside of a Nordstrom's, you know? Now it's a Nordstrom rack, so different audience, but still. And we, of course, filed a police report, and they're like, oh, yeah, we'll look right into this. You know? Well...
Gotta keep an air tag.
Yeah, well, I actually bought some air tags for that purpose. And actually, later that day, we got a notification that someone was trying to use our credit card, so that confirmed that someone stole it. Well, fast forward to Monday, a business on Facebook reaches out to my wife, and they say, hey, is your car perhaps parked in front of our business? And she's like, what? No. And they said, okay, well, there is a car that is parked in front of our business. It's parked in front of our load bay doors with a flat tire. And it looked kind of shady, and there was someone like trying to fix the tire, but they left. And so we looked inside, and we found your driver's license on the dashboard. And I was like, what? This sends me down a deep rabbit hole. I'm calling the business. I'm calling the police department. We can't tell the rest of the story now. We have to wait until later. And
sheesh.
it was one of the strangest encounters that I think I've had with thieves. And I've had encounters with thieves before. If you listen to this show, you know that it's happened to me before. Tipsy Doo saying, oh, man, he's going to be at Disneyland on the 22nd. Oh, we're going to just miss each other. I'm going to be there until the 19th. Son of a gun. We could have gone on It's a Small World together. That would have been fun. Okay. I think we're ready to roll. Oh, shoot. You want the tweet here, Lewis?
Oh, why not?
Here, take this tweet. Put that in your pipe. And
Take this tweet and shove it.
ignite it. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And Lewis has to be walking his buns out the door in what, Lewis? You got the Apple financial call, right?
Yeah, the big earnings call. Can't wait.
Okay.
Very, very exciting.
Well, it's exciting for me. I'm hoping that they're going to have a big quarter. Although, sadly, I predict that's
Don't count on it.
We didn't want to do a CultCast Apple Financial Quarter special.
Oh, wow. Man, you know how to pack the people in.
That's a great idea. We should probably talk about that after the show. All right. Oh, yeah, this story is way juicier than the guy who stole my iPhone. Because the person who stole my wife's purse ends up showing up at the car. So the story escalates from there.
Wow.
Anyway, let's go ahead and cue up Mrs. You-know-who. Oh, Mrs. D. Mrs. D, so excited. Oh, I've had things stolen from me before. Oh, yeah? Oh, yes. El Caney stole my heart. Oh, it's actually quite sweet. And never mind. I was going to take that somewhere else, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it at that's very sweet, Mrs. D. I appreciate your affection for El Caney. We all love him, honestly. I'm envious that you get to see him so often because I didn't even know he was alive. I have to check in with Lewis every once in a while just to see if he's still amongst the living. And apparently he is, so that's great news. All right, Mrs. D, if you don't mind. Let's go ahead. I'm sorry. And get this show rolling. Let me see here. Do I have all of our stuff up here? Yeah, I think we're actually good to go for once. All right, all. Yep. 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Careful Elijah. Join me today. His favorite part of the day is awakening the Cult of Mac Riders with his bullhorn at 3 a.m. for their push-ups. And then they get to do their run while carrying him in his chair. It's a great way to start the day, wouldn't you say? He's the managing editor of Cult of Mac. Lewis Wallace is here.
I can't tell you the last time I saw 3 a.m., to be honest.
The Psy guy himself, fresh from Saigon. Also with us. He's recently purchased a ghillie suit in the inevitable case that Lewis Wallace comes to his home to address a grammar or spelling dispute. In one of his articles, in that case, he'll be safely hiding in his leaf suit, eluding the discipline of an enraged Lewis Wallace. I almost called Griffin Wallace.
No relation. Good evening.
That'd actually be pretty cool if, you're like, this is my son. He's joining the Cult of Mac team. Aren't all the Keenies working for Cult of Mac now? I mean, they basically run the joint, don't they?
That seems to vary from time to time. Lately, I haven't seen very many posts from the Keenies.
The Keenie, okay. I know maybe that was a dream. That was the dream for a while from the main Keenie.
Yeah.
When the smaller Keenies were like, no,
Child labor.
Well, I know he's a big fan of child labor, and he disregards all laws. I mean, the state of California might be interested to hear that, but they can address that with him at another time. All right, all. So we have a lot of great stories to talk about this week. Let me see here. We got just what you all have been hoping for. Some major changes coming to Stage Manager in iPad OS 17. That will be a popular topic, I'm sure. Actually, you know what? Funny enough, I mean, Stage Manager obviously kind of sucks. And they're going to be making it better. And they're going to be improving the iPad, so I think that's a good thing. And then the biggest story of the week, don't ask me why, how to install the first ever iOS and Mac OS Rapid Security Response update. Griffin will tell us about that. That was the top story on Cult of Mac. People are really interested in what the Rapid Security Response is and how to install it. So we'll discuss that a little bit. Finally, we've got some concrete evidence that the 15-inch MacBook Air, the one we've all been waiting for, is literally right around the corner. We had Gurman coming out with some details on that and some other illuminations on what we can expect from WWDC. Look, at this point, there's just no surprises. We basically know everything that's happening. And we'll be talking about the major upgrades coming to Watch OS, which actually seem like they're going to be pretty cool and exciting. And then a sleeper that no one's really talking about this week, but I just felt compelled to talk about this. We'll see if anyone actually cares. A new report about the state of AI at Apple. Oh my goodness. I just, it's just hard to believe that Apple is far behind. And from this report, I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Just issues with people bickering with one another, no direction, people disagreeing on what should happen with AI, Apple losing AI talent to other companies, Tim Cook trying to personally intervene. This sounds like something that should be an Apple TV Plus special. I'm sure that will be something that they should make. Actually, you know what would be really funny if they actually did make like documentaries about the inner workings of Apple, except from like a reality show perspective,
Steve
So
said
it's
it
like-
himself. The story of how the iPhone 4 got lost in that bar would make a good movie. I'd see that.
I would too. I would also love to see. I'm trying to think of any other topic, but honestly, I can't come up with one. Maybe like the Apple leaks enforcement force. So like the people that come to get you when TC gets real squinty that you've leaked something, and then they take you down into like the lower levels of the Steve Jobs Theater, where all the torture equipment is. You guys haven't heard about that?
Oh, what are you talking
Just my
about?
sources reporting that? Okay, well. All right, look, before we dive in and things get any weirder, I want to give a very jovial thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. You know what? All you people listening who still don't have a website, I'm not trying to insult you, but as the great Strickland once said, you're a slacker. You haven't taken any action. You haven't built that website yet. You don't have the paychecks just rolling in like I do. Every week, they just roll in, Lewis. I do next to nothing. And the money it's the closest that I've gotten to having a U.S. Mint, just printing profits.
I'm so
for me.
envious.
And that could be you if you would just get up off your derriere and build that website that we've been talking about. You can promote your business. You can start selling products online. And Squarespace has all the tools that you need to grow your business online. They have tools for selling digital and physical products. They have tools for marketing your products, which are obviously pretty important. And everything will have a cohesive, beautiful brand. All that kind of stuff all the tools that you need are built in to do that. It's super easy to get started. You can build a website in minutes, or you can do what I did for the cultcloth.co website, is really dive in and customize everything. And the beautiful part is that you actually don't even need to know how to code. Everything's just drag and drop. I mean, Squarespace is like the Apple of websites. Everything is really easy to use, easy to change. You can actually do it yourself. You won't need to ask anyone for help. Maybe you don't want a business website. You want to just promote your skills with a portfolio. You want to start a blog. You want to promote your resume online, which I actually think is a really great idea. I've done a lot of hiring, and I can tell you one of the first things I look for, resume online. Like LinkedIn is great, but there is nothing like having a resume or like a website up that demonstrates what you actually do. It's just unbeatable. I mean, I have literally hired people because of seeing their work online and being like, wow, and it puts them a step above everyone else. So if that's you, head on over to squarespace.com/cultcast. Look at this. They have a special sale going on right now, so you better act fast. It only goes till May 6th for a limited time. 20% off any new plan with code May2WWC. May20WC. So May20WC. Now, if that code is expired, you can always use code CultCast at checkout, and you will get 10% off your first purchase. Obviously, 10% is less than 20, so you want to act fast.
Wow.
Yep, I did that on the fly. If you
Wow.
are looking for a website, that's a great discount. That's one of the biggest that I've seen. So squarespace.com/cultcast. Use code May20WC. And if that one's expired, use code CultCast, and you'll get a discount. Either way, do a year of service. That's what I do. And you get an additional discount. Let's see here. We got a super chat from MacBook Foe. I don't know if this just came in or if you gave this to us a while ago, it says celebrate MacBook Foes super chat, but there's no actual chat here. So, yay. Do I have a sound effect for you? Maybe I should get a special sound effect for people giving us money. I guess I could do this one. This is the perennial classic.
Oh my.
The great George Takei. Okay, let's dive right in. Let's talk about iPad OS, shall we? iPad OS 17. Boy, this is going to be a hot one, my friends. So let's see here. That's a great lead image. You put that up there. Rajesh? Strong work, Rajesh. Okay, let's actually get into the nitty gritty here. iPad OS, we're expecting to have a pretty big update to Stage Manager. Now, I know you're sighing loudly like Lewis does, but I think this might be interesting, so stick with me here. iPad OS 17, if I could speak, might focus on improving Stage Manager's external display report. This comes from the leaker Analyst 941, the very mysterious, on Twitter, who previously shared several tidbits about iOS 17, claiming that Apple is working on some big Stage Manager changes to iPad OS 17. I cannot say this. Below is a list of improvements Apple apparently plans to bring to the new multitasking interface. External monitor webcam support. Now, that's actually kind of useful because if you use your monitor for chatting, the people will be looking down at your face if you have the Apple Studio display instead of up your nose like they do with your iPad currently. And they'll be able to see if you need to trim.
I like the way you put that in very easy to digest terms.
Hey, camera angles are very important. You think this camera angle is an accident?
Have
You think my jawline
mom,
naturally looks this strong? Sorry, Griffin, what was that?
If you've ever FaceTimed your mom, then you know it's very important.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. My mom will hold the iPad just anywhere. I'm like, Mom, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Is that your sleeve? I don't even know what I'm looking at anymore. You realize you're covering the... Anyway. What else do we got here? Streamline multiple audio video sources simultaneously with Stage Manager enabled. Wait a second. Streamline...
Streaming.
Dude, I don't know what my problem is today. Streaming multiple audio video sources simultaneously. So that's pretty handy. Resizable dock in the external display. Change the audio output source. This makes it more like a Mac. Put iPad's display to sleep while the external display stays on. I wonder if you could do that with the iPad closed. That would be pretty interesting. Like if you could close your iPad and then put your keyboard on top of it and then just use it connected to a display with your mouse and a keyboard with your iPad, like not actually even open. That would actually be pretty cool. Let's see here. I think that pretty much covers iPad OS. This goes on to talk about Stage Manager. Yeah, man, Stage Manager. It's cool, but there's just something about it that I don't find to be particularly useful. So I never actually use it. Do you guys ever use Stage Manager in its current form?
Never once.
You've never
I don't
once
have an
used
iPad.
it?
I haven't even been curious enough to turn it on. Not once.
Have you never owned an iPad, Griffin?
No,
Wow.
I'm all in on the Mac.
I mean,
And on the Mac, I would never use Stage Manager because I'm really nitpicky about how I do my window management. Like I have everything precisely arranged on my screen. I don't need it to do it for me.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. I mean, iPad is a great product when you're just hanging out in bed. I mean, obviously, I don't know about you, but having a Mac in bed sounds rather inconvenient. I don't know about your wife, but I don't think my wife would like that very much. Yeah, so there you go. There are your iPad improvements. We don't need to go on too much about that, but we can move on. Griffin, let me send it to you. We can talk about the rapid security response. Now, look, I'm just curious in the chat, how many people actually care about Apple's new rapid security response, these little mini updates for Mac and for iOS? I'm presuming that we have them for iPad OS, Griffin, is that right? Okay,
Yeah,
so it's across all platforms.
I can make it interesting here.
Oh,
So this is just a security
challenge
update.
accepted.
No one really cares about those. It's always just bug fixes and performance improvements. What's neat about that? Well, this is a new type of security update. And what you'll notice if you install this, it's just in settings, general software update like anything else would be. But you'll notice that this installs incredibly fast. I know we've all been trained over the last 10 years that when you put the update button, your phone or your computer is basically out for the count for the next like 15, 20 minutes. and people are saying that this security response update installs in like a minute and a half, because this is a whole new class of update. So I believe the iPad and the iPhone have always been like this, but the Mac is just recently changed to the system where the boot volume, like the software that it boots from and runs the operating system and all that, is on is like stored completely separately from all of your own user data. Adam Engst wrote this in detail on his blog Tidbits. Changing the contents of the signed system volume requires installing the update on the system volume, making a cryptographically sealed snapshot, and restarting from that snapshot. It takes a really long time. Even if it's a minor security update, they need to cryptographically seal it after they install it and make a new system volume. It takes forever.
I don't even know what
That's
that
why
means. Sounds complicated.
A lot of math, but basically it ensures that every time you boot your computer, Apple can mathematically prove that it's going to boot identically to every other Mac and every other iPad. So it's a big win for security, but it means the software updates take forever. What's neat about these rapid security response updates is that they're implemented using what are called cryptographically signed extensions. So imagine like you have a metal safe at home, and you want to add something to the inside instead of like unlocking and all that. Well, you just get another metal safe and you just sort of weld it to the side. And that's effectively what these software updates are doing.
Okay. Trying to picture this as you speak. Yes.
So these extensions are loaded separately in the boot process, and they're sort of just grafted on. So it doesn't have to go through the whole rigmarole of creating a new system volume or anything. And it's applied automatically unless a restart is required. So here's the other cool part about this. These rapid security updates can install completely automatically. People only notice this one because this is one that just happened to require a reboot. But for all you know, you might wake up in the morning the next day and you'll just have a notification that a security response update has been installed entirely by itself without you doing anything.
And it won't even have to restart?
Nope.
Wow, that actually, congratulations. I am actually much more interested in this now. That actually is interesting. And you know what? I will say this. So I installed both of the rapid security updates on my Mac, one yesterday and then on my iPhone today. And I was, to steal a term from the great LK, I was actually astonished how fast it was. Like, I did it on my Mac, and like you said, you're out for minutes when that happens. You see the Apple logo, it's installing it. It restarted, and it was like, boom, it downloaded it, restalled it. It probably took like, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes. I did it on my iPhone this morning, and it was like instantaneous. As soon as I installed it, it literally just rebooted, and it was ready to go. So that actually is a lot less time consuming.
And the other cool thing is that because it's not creating a new system volume, it's just an extension, you can uninstall them just as easily as you can install them. So if Apple pushes one and a mistake happens, as it does like every once in a while, you can just go to Settings, General, About, Operating System Version, and then just tap a remove button and it'll just pluck it out.
I mean, why would you want to do that?
I mean, every once in a while, Apple pushes a software update where like there's a kind of a problem with it, or
okay,
there might be an issue with a software compatibility thing, or like you might install it and then you might find that like suddenly Skype doesn't work and I have to kill it. So
this, as long as it doesn't brick your iPhone.
Well, there is that. So this is one of those features that sounds really boring, I admit, but it is a major quality of life improvement, which maybe is why people are so excited about it, because instead of taking 10 minutes or longer to update your device, now it might just take a few minutes, which is obviously ideal. Okay, so we can't actually get out of here without telling people how to install this. I mean, wait a second. Let me back up. This is turned on by default, right? Like, I think everyone has this already turned on, and by it, I mean the ability for your device to install these I keep wanting to call them fast updates, rapid security updates. So I don't know if you need to turn this on, but you should probably check.
Yeah, you just go to Settings, General, Software Update, and you click on Automatic Updates, and then you make sure that Security Responses and System Files is turned on.
That's on that's in iOS, right? Oh, I guess it's the same in on Mac. Okay, great. So there you go. Go double check just to see if you have them on. And
if you don't install the security update, then I think just the next major iOS software update will install it automatically for you along with it.
It will just take an hour and a half to actually do.
An
Cool.
hour and a half plus 90 seconds.
Because it appends it onto the regular update as well. Got it. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for that primer there on the rapid security response. I saw this on Reddit, and it was like one of the biggest stories that was on the Apple subreddit, and I was like, dude, people are really excited about this. And sometimes I have to admit, like, I look at something that's really popular, and I'm like, I do not get why this is so popular. But I know a lot of people that are on that subreddit are developers, so that's probably why they geek out about this kind of stuff. Let's see here. Before we move on, Lewis, do you want to give some stuff away? Because do you have like 2 giveaways going on now, or what is the deal with this? This whole page is giveaways.
We're sort of on the cusp here, right? The current giveaway is this is the one we talked about last week, and this is the X40 3-in-1 foldable magnetic wireless charger and stand from CultCast.
Okay. I'm scrolling
and,
as we speak to it. Oh, there
fantastic thing. Looks, we were talking about this last week. It looks like a great travel charger. Folds up real small and can charge iPhone, AirPods, and Apple Watch all at once. Weighs like 195 grams, which is next to nothing. Lightweight. Looks great. I actually entered. Don't tell anyone. If I win, I'm not gonna confess. I'm just gonna keep it.
It's already at your house, right? So if you win, you just get to not send it anywhere.
I wish. Let's see. So that giveaway is going on for like another day or something from now.
Okay.
And then the next one that's coming up is for Urban MacBook sleeves from Switch Easy. Okay. And this is just like a padded fabric MacBook sleeve. We're giving away 2 of those.
Do we have a? Oh, look, we actually have a. Okay, so this that I'm about to show you is basically just their website. It's going to be on Cult of Mac though when the giveaway switches.
Yes, we'll have that post up. So maybe by the time you hear this podcast, it's already up there. I mean, as with all these giveaways, just go to the homepage, scroll down to the giveaway section, click into the post, and you got multiple ways to enter. So this thing is going to be for these Urban MacBook sleeves from Switch Easy. We're going to give away one that's for a 13 or 14-inch MacBook. One is for a 15 or 16-inch. They're water-resistant fabric, premium zippers, outside pocket for storing cables and such. Fantastic little thing. I think those retail for $55 or $60, depending on which size. So there you go. If you want in on that X40, race
I am
to the
really
website
impressed
right now
with your
down.
ability to do words that are not in the English vernacular. Let me just say, I can tell you're trying to put the authentic pronunciation on there.
Oh yeah, that's the authentic Australian accent.
Is that Australian?
They're from Australia. Yeah.
Oh,
interesting.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
anyway, so that's what we got. Like I said, the CultCast X40 ending soon. The Switch Easy Urban MacBook sleeves coming soon.
Okay, so the Urban MacBook sleeves. When is that giveaway going live?
The post is not scheduled yet. It'll be
on
out
a tight ship over here. You can
today
tell.
Or tomorrow. I was actually talking
when Lewis
with
gets
Adele,
around to it. Okay.
Wonderful Adele runs our Cult of Mac store, and she also puts together these giveaways, right? And I was like, okay, well, let's just start synchronizing them so that the posts go live on like Wednesday, and then there's exactly one thing available. We have a post that we can share with people live so they can get in early and get in often and enter as many times as they want. We'll see. We'll see if we can do this. I mean, we're not Marines over here, but we might be able to pull this off.
Well, yeah. So look, I always say people tend to not enter into giveaways because they think they got no chance. But I'll give you a
poppycock.
I'll give you a little tip. You got a chance. You got a chance. So I would hop in there if either of these items look interesting to you. It's really easy to enter. And go ahead and enter. So the phone charger giveaway ends the next day or two, and then the Urban sleeve giveaway will follow that. So I'll post the link in the show notes if you guys want to enter that. Let me see here. Okay, look. Before we move on, I also want to give a quick thank you to HelloFresh for supporting this episode. Where is my HelloFresh window? What did you do with my window, Lewis? Never mind.
Crashed it.
Stage manager threw it away.
I got it. Oh my god! Look at those! Look at those delicious meals. Now that is a great picture. You know, I used to do food photography, kind of like amateurly. It's not as easy as it looks, and that is a great looking.
That is true.
That is a great looking salad that we have right there. All right, hello. You're getting hungry? I know. I actually haven't eaten lunch. We're doing this show during lunch a lot recently, and we keep doing all these spots for meals and stuff. It's kind of hard to do. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking fun, easy, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Look at that delicious food. HelloFresh does more than just deliver delicious dinners, Lewis. Now you can take your pick of 40 weekly recipes. And you can choose from over 100 items to round out your order, from snacks and easy lunches to desserts and pantry necessities. Everything arrives in one box on a delivery day that you choose. Now, HelloFresh sent me a bunch of meals, and I said, okay, what do we got here? And they were all delicious. I think we finished the whole box in maybe a day and a half. And my kids loved them. And they're like wholesome ingredients, like really fresh stuff. Everything tasted yummy. And there's just a lot of variety there. So if you like to cook, but you don't want to, go through all the hassle of learning how to cook, that's where HelloFresh, is a lifesaver, especially if you don't have a lot of time. Like maybe you like fresh food, but you don't. Maybe you work a lot and you want to come home and just have everything ready for you. HelloFresh sends you everything pre-portioned. You just follow the directions, and they're super easy. There's lots of easy pictures. And let me tell you what, this is the time that you want to try. I have an offer for you that you're not going to refuse, okay? And I truly, actually, sincerely mean that. If you like Asian cuisine as much as I do, this May, HelloFresh is celebrating Asian American and Pacific Island Heritage Month. What does that mean? Well, for a limited time, you can try authentic recipes in partnership with Chef Surbi Sani from New York City's Tagmo restaurant and enjoy a cultural taste tour right in your own kitchen. Plus, you're going to learn how to cook Asian cuisine, which is something I'm always interested in learning because I love it so much. So that's an extra motivation for you to try this, but check out this offer, okay? Go to HelloFresh.com/CultCast16, the number 16, and use code CultCast16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. So there's absolutely no reason for you not to try it and just see how you like it. That is HelloFresh.com/CultCast16 and use code CultCast16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Check it out, and you'll get some delicious foods. Delicious Asian cuisine, no less, which...
16 free meals.
I told you. I'm glad that you're still here because I thought that you might leave and just go start doing stuff while I'm still talking.
I think I might take advantage of this. I'm allowed to take advantage of this offer, right?
As opposed
to the giveaways, which technically I'm not allowed
illegal.
to.
But that you hadn't mentioned here live on the show. Yeah, I think technically they don't say that you can't. So I would just give it a shot and just see what happens. And we had a bunch of people who are commenting that they are updating their devices in real time. Sammy saying, yeah, I couldn't believe how fast the update was. Dipsy Doo said, left during the giveaway to read. Well, that's cool. That's great.
Gee
Left during the
whiz.
giveaway to install the update on my iPad, and he's still doing the giveaway. Well, that could also be because
extended giveaway.
he was going on for a while. You could have done a normal update during that promotion. And let's see here. Dipsy Doo, iPad done update. There you go. Let's move on. The next story in our agenda here. Where are we, Lewis? We have so many stories in here. Oh, okay. It's going back to me. Now, look, I just wanted to mention this, okay? Lewis was rolling his eyes. He was like, don't talk about it. You're going to lose all of our listeners. And I said, look, Lewis, the people want to know. If you have been waiting for this new Mac, well, we have good news. It looks like it is incoming. The 15-inch MacBook Air. Man, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. Apple is running some deals on Macs lately. And this is the way they do it. They never put anything on sale, but they farm their sales out to third-party retailers like B&H. I think Amazon had a really great sale on the MacBook Pro, the M1 Max MacBook Pro. If you missed that one, it still might be going on. I think it's $26.99 down from like $33.99 or something. And the MacBook Airs, I almost bought one. I almost bit, man. I saw an an M2 MacBook Air with 8 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of SSD for $11.50. That was a great deal. There may still be going one at B&H. It is an M1 MacBook Air for $11.99. It has 16 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. So Apple's starting to push some sales, but if you're able to hold out, this might be the Mac that you've been waiting for. Apple plans, I'm reading from the Mac Rumor Story, Apple plans to announce, and of course they're quoting from Gurman, Apple plans to announce the rumored 15-inch MacBook Air at WWDC. According to the Gurminator, the laptop is expected to be unveiled alongside iOS 17, Mac OS 14, we know, Watch OS 10, yeah, and tvOS 17, and Apple's long-awaited and much anticipated.
We've all been waiting a long time.
Yeah, no one else is except for us. AR VR headset. There are some details here about the actual. Why don't I just read my show notes here? How about that? Okay, no design changes have been rumored for the 15-inch MacBook Air beyond its larger display size. The 13-inch model has a notch in the display, a 1080p camera, MagSafe, 2 USB-C, Thunderbolt 3 ports, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, scissor switch, MacBook keyboard, Touch ID, Force trackpad, yada, 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 so on and so forth. So it looks like if you've been waiting for the 15-inch MacBook Air as I have, and I know some of you are because you keep asking me when it's coming, it looks like it's coming to WWDC, which is great. We got Level Remix asking about the HomePod Pro. Dude, I would love to see something like that. You know, I'm toying with a title for a new HomePod video that I'm working on. You know, Apple's next generation HomePod - the magic is gone. But I don't know if that's necessarily how I feel, but it is kind of how I feel.
Maybe it's just the magic is diminished.
Yeah, that could be, but that's not nearly as clickable.
Yeah. Too long.
You know, it just there's just something about that original HomePod that makes it special. And the new HomePods sound really good, but I wouldn't classify them in the really special realm as with the original HomePod. So I would love if Apple said, okay, well, if you really want a great sounding HomePod like the original, we're going to give you the HomePod Pro. It's going to be $399 or something. I mean, Sonos does this. Sonos has I can't even remember the name of it, the Sonos 300 series or something that's supposed to compete with HomePod, and they have the Sonos 500 series. I forget the names. And one is cheaper than the other, and they're more expensive one, obviously more premium, better sounding. And I would love if Apple did something like that, but who knows, man? I haven't heard any rumors along those lines, so my guess is that's probably not going to happen. But I would be the first one to line up and purchase those because I care about price, obviously. Like, obviously price makes a difference, but sound quality is extremely important to me. And I would be willing to pay more to get that same level of magic that the last HomePods had. Just keep praying. Just keep saying your prayers and brush your teeth and be nice to the people that you meet, and maybe something good will happen. Let's see here. Okay, Lewis, I'm going to send it your way for the Watch OS update, which I think was another major story this week and probably going to be one of the more exciting things that we see at WWDC, aside from the mixed reality headset that actually isn't exciting because no one cares. Take it away, Lewis.
Yeah. So it sounds like they're going to really change up the Apple Watch operating system. You know, one of the biggest changes since it came out in the first place. Watch OS 10 supposedly will give people what they want, even quicker access to little bits of information. If you remember Glances, do you remember Glances?
I do remember the Glances. And there was like the Siri Watch face as well, which I should probably pull that up while you're talking.
Yeah. Anyway, so with with Watch OS 10, the company's planning to bring back widgets and make them a central part of the interface for the watch. New widget system Apple Watch supposedly will be a combination of the old watchOS glances system and the style of widgets that were introduced in iOS 14 on the iPhone. Plan is to let users scroll through a series of different widgets for activity tracking, weather, stock tickers, calendar appointments, stuff like that, rather than having to launch the actual app. Supposedly, this new interface will be reminiscent of the Siri watch face that was introduced in iOS 14, but will be available as an overlay for any watch face. Also similar to widget stacks, which you may or may not use in iOS and iPad OS. Lets you put a bunch of widgets into one and scroll through them. Apple's also, now this is wild, Apple's also testing the idea of changing the functions of some of the watch's buttons. What do you think about that?
I don't think that's that wild. I mean,
well, I don't know. Do you find? I mean, I've been with Apple Watch from day one, right? Probably not one day has passed that I haven't had an Apple Watch on my wrist. At least, I mean, probably almost 24/7 for what is it? How many years is that? Now, right?
I might be with you on that since 2015 when they released it.
It's kind of wild to think about how long and how many hours. But when they start changing the way it works, I mean, I'm still a little bit baffled. Every now and then, like I actually have something going on now where I got two watches, right? And I'm listening to a podcast. If I press the side button on one of the watches, it acts completely different from the other one. And I've dug around settings. I can't figure out why. I don't know why it is.
See, the way it works now, I feel like really makes a lot of sense, at least in my mind. So if you press the digital crown, it takes you to the screen where you can launch an app. So, okay, that makes sense to me. And then if you press the button below the digital crown, it basically turns into mission control. So you can just scroll through all the open app windows that you have. It's basically like swiping up on your iPhone and then swiping left and right through the different screens.
I think the difference between Lewis's watches is that you can set whether the long button on the side opens up recent apps or whether it opens up like a fixed set of apps that are always there.
Yeah, the thing in particular, it seems like the Now Playing app works differently on my two watches. Like on one watch, when I click that button, it regularly takes me to it. On the other one, it sometimes has it at the top of the list, which is what the Apple support says is supposed to happen. Other times it doesn't. And on the one in particular, I have to dig in deeper, and it always shows me what's now playing on the watch rather than what's playing on the phone, which is where the things are playing. So I don't know. To me, it's just a little bit weird. I can't my overall point is, even after all these years of using Apple Watch, I still am somewhat flummoxed by it sometimes. If they start changing the way the buttons work, oh my God! Unless they come up with something that is completely perfectly user friendly. I'm probably just going to be more confused. I'm not confused, but I'm just sometimes a little bemused by what just happened. Like, what? How can I, after all these years, how can I press the button and still not know exactly what's going to happen?
Well, there's one thing in here that Gurman mentions, which I'm 100% on board with. He says, as an Apple Watch Ultra user, I hope that watchOS 10 will accomplish something else. Taking advantage of the larger, flatter display, the current crop of apps and watch faces don't feel like they were optimized for the Ultra's additional real estate. I've said this before. I feel like I'm on grandpa mode on this watch. Like when you have your phone and you can set it into the magnified views, like all the fonts are really huge and not very much fits on the screen. That's how it feels on the Apple Watch Ultra with a lot of these watch faces. Instead of taking advantage of the extra space, it just makes them larger. And so the numbers are all really huge on the watch faces. It just feels unnatural. And so I agree. There's not a lot of watch faces I really use on the Ultra for this reason, because it just feels like it's way too zoomed in. So I hope that they do actually take advantage of the extra screen real estate. But as we've learned with the iPad, that's not something Apple often does. They just will use the same OS across all the different devices, even though the different devices have different size screens. So instead of taking advantage of the larger screen real estate, you just get the same experience on all the different screen sizes across all the device types. So I don't think this is actually going to happen. And of course, the other big one, which probably won't happen, which I would love, would be the watch face store, man. The only
Keep dreaming.
the watch face store, that's like the big one that I feel like Apple is sleeping on. No one cares about the tvOS store. No one cares about the Apple Watch apps.
Yeah, that's like the most. Some survey came out recently saying that's like the least used thing, right? Even less than tvOS.
Well, I mean, I
Apps.
believe that
TVOS
because
app.
I mean, it's like a 1 inch by 1 inch screen. Like, what can you accomplish on a screen that small?
I think I have 2 apps in total installed on my watch that are third-party apps. One is a Pong game that you can play with the digital crown. The other one is a web browser that I installed once and I tried with, and I never
web
opened it again.
browser.
Yeah.
So you don't use like any airline apps or anything like that, so you can just scan your wrist when you walk up to the gate.
Not on my watch, no. I mean, a lot of those you can add the passes to Apple Wallet, so you get the same functionality.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it sounds
see.
I'm optimistic about this. What Gurman is saying about WatchOS 10, not just because it is pretty much exactly what I predicted independently of this.
Oh,
on this
God,
very
here we
show.
go.
that's
Here we
hilarious.
go.
I wondered if you were going to mention this.
Can you reach that far back there to get your own back there, Griffin? Does your arm go that far? You need to do some stretching first.
I'm pretty flexible, but
Yeah, from plenty of practice, no doubt. Go ahead. Did you have anything else?
ahead.
Before I
Let's
rudely
hear
interrupted
it.
you?
Let's hear.
Before I
the
rudely
amazing
interrupted your
prediction come
bragging.
true. Come on, Maxstradamus.
Griff Strodamus? Does that work? Griff Strodamus? No, doesn't roll. Off
we
the
can
tongue.
workshop that.
Griffin, anything else? Sorry, I feel like I cut you off.
No, I mean, I'm optimistic about this. It sounds like they're going to be rethinking a lot about how the apps work. If they're taking inspiration from the widgets from iOS and iPadOS, I think they're headed in the right direction. People don't really care about installing apps on the watch. People don't want to think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like this is going to be a more dynamic, more intelligent system of getting the stuff on the watch that you actually care about and making it easier to navigate.
Yeah, I'm excited. This WWDC is going to be interesting. I mean, we're going to get a new Mac, at least one. I'm always excited for iOS updates just to see what we get. And then we get the freaking headset, which, even though no one's interested in it, I think once we actually see it, there's going to be a lot more interest. And, of course, there's going to be Apple's unbelievably powerful marketing tsunami that is going to sweep over the entire world within a matter of days, and all of a sudden people are going to realize this is a new thing. All the normies who don't care or follow this stuff are going to be interested to hear what it does, and I'm definitely amongst that crowd. I want to see what it can do and hear how much it actually costs. I'm kind of half expecting Apple to have spent all this time leaking the price directly to Gurman, as he probably has a direct phone line to TC, just so that they can come out and undercut the price to make it sell. So they price anchor you at $3,000, which is what we keep hearing. And then they come in and say it's $14.99, and it's like, oh,
I can afford that. I've got my new Apple
I can't,
Card.
I can't not afford it. Oh, dude, I'm telling you, that savings account was genius. That was one of the best marketing maneuvers I had ever seen. It got so many people to sign up for Apple Card, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the new Apple savings account has one of the higher interest rates that are available, but in order to take advantage of it, you got to sign up for the Apple Card. And so when did the Apple Card come out? 2 years ago? I don't even know. It's kind of a garbage card, to be honest with you. That's why I never bothered to use it.
Wow.
And
I've heard that they've already channeled something like $1 billion into that savings system.
Shocking. First 4 days, $1 billion.
I heard that too. And for the first time ever, I used my Apple Card to pay for some groceries the other day, and it was really easy. And setting up autopay was the simplest process I've ever experienced. So of course now I'm using the card, which is precisely what they were going for. So
It's also you put money in the savings account, right?
I actually haven't put money in the savings account yet, because it got me going down the rabbit hole of researching the best savings accounts available. And even though the Apple one is very good and it's probably one of the easiest ones to use, there are others out there that actually have a better interest rates, and you don't need to sign up for a credit card. So if you don't want to sign up for a credit card, I don't know, let me know, chat, or ping me on Twitter. If you guys would be interested in this, I could talk about some of like the better savings accounts out there, since I've already done the research, and there's one I'm probably going to sign up for. No one's endorsing me. No one's paying me. I wish they were. I mean, good grief. If you're a bank listening to this, reach out to me. Let's make a deal. But I can tell you what I'm probably going to do, and it doesn't require you to have a credit card, which is nice. You know, like, do you want to sign up for a credit card just to use a savings account? That's an unheard of move. I have never seen anyone do that before. Maybe some bank out there does do that, but that was like an original TC creation. And it seemed to be something that worked because everyone's dumping their money into the Apple savings account. And look, 4.15%, that is a stellar deal. I mean, your bank is probably paying you 0.05%. So in that context, that's a great deal. But if you are willing to do a little bit of research or have me do it for you for a small fee, you can get a better rate than that.
It's so nice though, man. So you put that, I put in some money, the money that I had just in Apple Cash sitting around. And, now I pop in the wallet. I see how much I have in there. I see how much I have to pay. It's the coolest. I have several credit cards. And using the bank credit card apps or the bank apps, it's so ridiculous compared to this Apple interface. Apple totally. I mean, I had no idea. It is so beautiful and so seamless. You just open up the wallet, there everything is. You even get like a little alert saying, "Here's how much interest you earned this month." Granted, it was $3.40, but it's. I'm really kind of blown away by how lovely the interface is and how easy it is to use. And I've used the Apple credit card exactly one time to buy a sandwich. Of course, it was easy, but I don't know, man. I think they nailed it. And you say that there's a better interest rates. I mean, do you have to put in a whole bunch of money and keep it there, or do you pay a monthly?
For some of them, you have to put like $5,000 in, which I know is a lot. But for some of them, you don't. So it really just depends on. Just depends on what you're looking for. Lewis, I know you got to be walking those buns of yours out the door in 7 minutes. So let me we got one more story left too. We could talk more about banking, but I know you got to move on. So I do want to give a thank you to ExpressVPN for supporting this episode. Of course, you've heard me talk about how important it is to have a VPN to protect your online privacy. I've been telling El Caney this for years. He's probably going to jail for not having a VPN that you can rely on. But choosing a VPN you trust is equally as important. Now, I like to do my research, especially on sponsors. And I only recommend brands to you all that I believe in, and that I use. And I can say with confidence that ExpressVPN is the best VPN on the market. Here's why. Number one, ExpressVPN doesn't log your online activities. Lots of cheap or free VPNs make money by selling your data to advertisers, which is kind of exactly the opposite of what you want. But ExpressVPN doesn't do this. They've even developed a technology called Trusted Server that makes their VPN servers incapable of storing any data at all. They went a step above, and they're like, we're going to just architect this out of our servers. Number two, speed. Of course, this is a big one. ExpressVPN now uses what they call Lightweight, a new VPN protocol. They engineered to make user speeds faster than ever. I, of course, have tried many VPNs in the past, probably like a lot of you, and they can sometimes slow your connection, which is a big problem with VPNs, but ExpressVPN is always blazing fast and will let me stream videos in HD with zero buffering. The last thing that really sets ExpressVPN apart is how easy it is to use. You don't need any technical skills to get set up. You just fire up the app and tap one button. That's it. Even El Caney could do it. And, of course, it's not just me talking about ExpressVPN. A lot of other reputable outlets, CNET, Business Insider, The Verge, other tech journalists rate ExpressVPN as the #1 VPN in the world. So protect yourself with a VPN that I trust and that I use. Use my link, expressvpn.com/cultcast today and get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/cultcast. expressvpn.com/cultcast to learn more. Okay, let's do this final story here. No one's talking about this, and I just thought this was highly amusing and entertaining. And this is the state of AI at Apple. And speaking of AI, someone in the chat was just saying they were talking about Siri. Yeah, Norbert Frost, Siri is sad on the HomePod. She never understands me. And Echo blows her away. Dude, Lewis and I talk about this all the time. Like, just when you think that Siri can't get worse, Apple's like, check this out. And they release an update. It's so bad. It's so bad on the iPhone. The dictation is unusable. It's just so bad. It's constantly inserting words. It's like the biggest problem is it doesn't understand context. So you'll be putting a sentence together and it will use this word that has absolutely no relation with anything that you're talking about. Or it will get it right, and then right before you're about to hit send, it changes it, man. It is truly baffling. But check this out. So we know that Apple is working on, let's see here. Where's my tab? We know that they're working on AI. And here we go. And it's not going well. That's all I'll say. Report details turmoil behind Apple's AI efforts, Siri X, and headset voice control. I'm reading from Mac Rumors. Siri and Apple's use of AI has been severely held back by caution and organizational dysfunction. According to over 36 former Apple employees who spoke to the Information's Wayne Ma, the extensive paywalled report explains why former Apple employees who worked in the company's AI and machine learning groups believe that a lack of ambition and organizational dysfunction have hindered Siri and the company's AI technologies. Apple's virtual assistant is apparently widely derided inside the company for its lack of functionality and minimal improvement over time. Minimal improvement? It hasn't. It's only gotten worse. I would say it's gotten worse over time. At least that's the way it feels. Let's see. Many Apple employees purportedly left the company because it was too slow to make decisions or too conservative in its approach to new AI technologies, including the large language models that underpin chatbots like ChatGPT. Check this out. This was my favorite part. Apple CEO Tim Cook personally attempted to persuade engineers who helped Apple modernize its search technology to stay at the company. Hey, y'all, have I told you how much I like you? You want to come to Thanksgiving dinner at my house? Let's see. Sorry, I that was a weird pause because I didn't finish the sentence. Apple CEO Tim Cook tried to intervene, right, of course, to persuade engineers before they left to work on large language models at Google. Unbelievable. I hope that Apple gets it together. I, of course, want them to succeed, but this story seems rather dire. Let's see. Apple executives are said to have dismissed proposals to give Siri the ability to conduct extended back-and-forth conversations, claiming that the feature would be difficult to control and gimmicky. Wow. Apple's uncompromising stance on privacy, which we appreciate, of course, obviously, has also created challenges for enhancing Siri. I can understand why. With the company pushing for more of the virtual assistance functions to be performed on device, which goes to security, right? I get that. TC and other senior executives requested changes to Siri to prevent embarrassing responses, and the company prefers Siri's responses to be pre-written by a team of around 20 writers. I bet you didn't know that was happening, rather than AI generated. There were also specific decisions to exclude information such as iPhone prices from Siri to push users directly to Apple's website instead. So there you go, man. Does not look good. Does not look good. Losing talent, people bickering with one another. Is there anything else here? Yeah,
I like this other bit that you skipped. This says this has been going on since by 2018. The team working on Siri had apparently, quote, devolved into a mess driven by petty turf battles between senior leaders and heated arguments over the direction of the assistant. I mean, so what's that, 5 years? 5 years they've been bickering and letting this thing get worse and worse. Devolve. It said that Siri's leadership did not want to invest in building tools to analyze Siri usage, and that the engineers lacked the ability to obtain basic details such as how many people were using Siri and how often they were doing so. Which just it's mind blowing. I mean, and yet it all had. I mean, I've been ranting about this like a insane person for a while. I can't believe it's as bad as it is, and I can't believe that Tim Cook hasn't walked in there and like just stood up and said, who's responsible for this? And, 3 goons take him out of the building. It's,
I don't know. I mean, my reaction to this story is that, especially saying like a lot of these people left around like 2018, people left to work at other companies. I mean, you have to think that this report is coming from people who are all ex-Apple employees. So of course they're not going to say that it was all sunshine and roses at the Siri team if they're interviewing people who left and who disagreed with the direction of the company. But we'll see if they announce anything relating to this at WWDC. I think some of Apple's caution is justified. I don't see Apple introducing any sort of large language model related tool or service if it doesn't have some sort of modicum or understanding of like the truth, because they don't want a voice assistant that's just actively lying to people like ChatGPT does.
Siri lies to me all the time. I ask for it to play a certain movie and it plays something else. Same thing with songs. I mean, that's what gets me. A song or a movie that is in Apple Music or Apple TV. Well, I guess it probably hasn't made a mistake with Apple TV. I don't think. But Apple Music all the time, regularly. You request one thing, it does something else. Or you say, hey, start this movie, and it starts playing a song. I don't know, man. I find it to be ridiculously bad. And just the other day, the wife and I were sitting there watching something. We asked some question, like, it was so simple, like, when was the car invented or something like that? And of course, Siri says, oh, well, I'd be happy to help you with that if you find your iPhone and ask me there, and all that. And then we shouted out to Alexa, which is in the other room, and of course gave the exact answer you wanted, right?
Yes.
It's like,
it's unbelievably
I'm sorry,
good.
it's not like my privacy is at risk if you tell me when the car was invented.
Well, I found on the web for.
I mean, ironically, Apple's biggest strength is their weakness, right? The privacy thing seems like it's really inhibiting their ability to make progress here. And look, like the AI stuff, dude, is the Wild West. I don't know if you all are following. I'm following multiple channels that talk only about AI, and it's moving at a breakneck speed. I mean, these people are putting out videos daily, and it's moving so fast, they're not even able to keep up with all the developments because things are moving so swiftly, and there's just no rules. It's like back in the Western days, you just carried your pistol, and it's like people would just do whatever they wanted. And if you didn't like them, it's like boom, you just pop one off, and now your problem's gone. Like there are no rules, and that's what AI feels like right now. There's just no rules. Everyone is scrambling to get to a first position, right? To be the first one to launch that service that everyone is going to be using, because they know once you get seated in that position, it's very difficult to dislodge you. And so everyone's scrambling to get there. And I don't see Apple being in that position either. Like they're going to play it safe. They'll probably figure out useful ways to integrate AI into their various OSs, but it's certainly not going to be anything that is as innovative as what we're seeing from like companies like Midjourney or something, which have been iterating so fast, and it's absolutely mind-boggling the types of like AI image creation you can get now. Like I just saw this story came out, not to get political here, but like I'm sure you all know about like that Tucker Carlson, the news guy, got fired. And like there's all these like videos coming out about him, and like people weren't sure if they were real. Like people see stuff now and they're like, we're not even sure if this stuff is real or if it's fake. I heard some guy saying, well, you can't see his mouth move, which is like a classic sign that it might be AI. And it's like, I don't know about that, man. It's like you just see videos online now and you don't even know if what you're seeing is real or not. There was a story about LeBron James coming out in a pink dress. Did you guys hear about this? Did you see that picture? And I was telling Lewis.
No.
He's wearing like a pink top and like a pink dress. And I'm like, basketball player, very rich, eccentric, not surprising to me at all. And then it turns out later that image was actually AI. And we have been talking about AI, and I even keep telling you, I'm like, dude, it's going to get to a point where you can't even tell what's real and what's not. We're already there. And I'm watching out for this stuff, and even I just got tricked, and the whole thing was completely fake. So, man.
I think that's exactly why Apple is comfortable not competing in that space.
Yeah, exactly. Like they want to play things safe, keep things secure, and keep things private. I get that. But look. We could talk about AI all day. We could probably do a whole AI podcast, but we can't right now because it's time to wrap up the show. Lewis has got to go. He told me 1:30. It's already 1:36. He's scrambling to get out of here. So that's all the CultCasts we're going to have for you guys this week. If you want to come talk to me about AI, I'm all ears. I'm at Erfon on Twitter, ERFWin. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. Griffin's on Mastodon. You have to go find him. Just search his name. Good luck. Hopefully you can find him if you can. You guys can have interesting conversations. But that's all the CultCast
Fun
we
little
have.
scavenger hunt.
It's like a fun adventure, fun challenge. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week, but the fun continues. I already said that part. What am I doing? New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening. AI glitch. And we'll see you guys. I'm literally doing this with one hand. Can you tell? Next time. Wow. I didn't even know I could do that. I just stretched out my hand across the soundboard and my control
Arms get
panel.
longer from last week.
Wow. I'm impressed. It's amazing that you can do this show as long as I have and still learn new tricks, Lewis. Why can't you learn any new tricks, Lewis? How come it's just me?
Something about old dogs.
All right, well, you enjoy that financial call, Lewis.
I cannot wait. Earnings calls. Best in the world.
I truly envy you. I hope everyone has a great week, and I'm hurtling towards the end stream button as we speak.